Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode. I know it's been a while, but I've been on vacation and I'm glad to be back and going right back at it. While I was away, the Waterloo District School Board wasted no time because they cannot help themselves. It's been an interesting meeting that I've missed, but I did want to go back and cover it. As you know, I've done a recent delegation talking about the school books that are available in the library, and I've gone over the grooming process. I highly recommend that you watch that video right before you watch this one, just so you know the kind of content that is available in the Waterloo District School Board and that kids can access. Of course, I believe that all children in the Waterloo District School Board are minors under the age of 18. I think these books are completely inappropriate. And the last delegation that I've had, I went through a book that basically goes through the grooming process on how adults can attract minors through social media and how they can basically make sexual acts more appealing. They basically present adult content in children's books. And I think this is a huge problem. This is the third delegation that I've had, and this is a really big problem that the Waterloo District School Board. Now, they've all had the chance to look at all this information. Parents have been speaking out, and of course, parents are not happy about what is happening. And the Waterloo District School Board is receiving a lot of criticism. Now, I found it interesting when I was watching the meeting that there's an associate director, Dr. Graham Shantz. And during this, he's kind of asked about the books, and he makes it seem like it's a complicated issue. Obviously, I find nothing complicated about, limiting pornography and access to explicit content for minors. But in his view, this is a complicated issue. He goes on to talk about how these books are behind a paywall and that they're all, handpicked by experts, which I actually find it even more concerning. What kind of experts are handpicking these books that are incestuous, topics of incest, topics of pedophilia, topics of rape, and all of these things? If you think this is hard to believe, like I said, check out my previous videos. Now, he goes on to talk about this, and it's very concerning because he seems to be defending this. So he is against putting an online filter that will allow students to access these books. And he draws a comparison saying, students can go online at school and the internet is a free-for-all, essentially. Now, I'm starting to wonder, does the Waterloo District School Board even have filters on their internet, or can students just straight up access pornography? Now, I don't want to jump to any conclusions. I'm going to say that they probably do have filters that limit that kind of stuff. However, the library is a very different place because it's all curated material. That means that it's hand selected, and the Waterloo District School Board actually finds it appropriate to have this pornographic material available to kids. Unlike the internet, which is a free-for-all, you can add some filters, and I'm sure the Waterloo District School Board does have filters to limit access to inappropriate content. But unlike that, the Waterloo District School Board actually goes out of their way to curate this content. Their mentality is, well, we don't want them to access porn online. We'll just give it to them ourselves. And like I said, these are all minors. The kind of behavior that Dr. Graham Shantz is defending here is pedophilic in nature. It's crazy to me that he sees no problem and he draws these conclusions and these comparisons that makes zero sense. This is not a complicated situation here. You simply need to remove this material from the libraries. But of course, not only are they not removing it, which is crazy to them, but they're not even willing to put limits on it. And he goes on about saying, kids would never access that content. Honestly, the fact that this stuff is even available to access and that the leadership at the Waterloo District School Board goes out of their way to defend, this makes me very concerned. And I really do think this kind of stuff that kids are exposed to, we've gone into the realm of just straight up pedophilia, and sexual stuff are being normalized within the schools. And they're just assuming that kids are not, rather than just assuming that, whoa, maybe we made a mistake. Maybe we should, put some filters on this. They're just straight up, nah, it's okay. We don't want to ban any books. We don't want to limit the kids. Of course, the only limiting that they would be doing is access to inappropriate, but not even that. They want kids to have the possibility of being exposed. And that's the kind of leadership that is at the Waterloo District School Board. I actually want you to watch this short clip for yourself so you can see Dr. Graham Shantz, in his words, defend the kind of content. And please check out my other videos. And I'm sure my audience by now knows exactly the kind of books that are available because I talk about them.
Why? Because we've had parents come as a delegate and they are able to go into their child's account and access books that are not appropriate. So they're able to get the book on their child's account. Now, if they're able to do that, their child would be able to do that. So how is it that if we don't have filtering in our virtual library, we're expecting that our books will be filtered? Like, do we have filtering in our virtual library or no? Is it, yes or no? Associate Director Shantz?
Through the chair to trustees, the challenge here is the comparison that's being made to our Chromebooks. Chromebooks access the worldwide net, which is abundance of information that exists throughout the world, an infinite amount of information. Our internal online library is behind a paywall. The materials that are selected for that are done so by professionals. So the comparison that's trying to be drawn between the two is a very challenging one to draw. And as we heard through the delegate the other week, there is expertise that goes into the selection of books. A child in grade 1 or kindergarten simply wouldn't choose a book that's in grade 12 because of the nature of that book. The density of the text, the lack of interest that textbook
Valerie,
provides to them.
Thank you. Follow up, Trustee Watson? Yes. And again, I'm struggling with this because we're assuming that a child, when we talk about grade 1, we can still talk about grade 2, grade 3, and grade 4, grade 5. They're accessing high school material. What are we doing in our virtual libraries to stop students who are in the elementary panel to accessing high school books that may not be appropriate for them, age appropriate? These are the concerns of parents. So what are we doing to make sure elementary and younger grades are not accessing books instead of just assuming they won't? Associate Director Shantz?
Through the chair to trustees, I believe this was covered by the delegate as well, the professional that spoke on this topic. And here within the Waterloo region, we follow the same standards that other libraries, school libraries across Ontario and the nation follow.
Let me know what you think. I would love to hear your opinion. And I honestly believe that Dr. Graham Shantz needs to be removed from his position. He is defending pedophilia and exploiting kids sexually through the Waterloo District School Board system. And he apparently brings in experts, or probably is part of the leadership that brings in these experts to curate these books available to kids. This stuff is inappropriate and this person needs to be removed. Let me know what you think. Looking forward to it.